The percentage of fights in any given marriage: option A 25%, option B 50%, option C 75%, and option D 100%. Yes, you are correct. Answer is 100%. Welcome to the text for the context. Alright, as I mentioned, in any given marriage, both husband and wife, they fight at different levels. It could be just arguments or heated conversations or battles. Really, I'm saying battles with weapons included. And these fights will get complicated when external people, be it parents on either side or friends, other people involved. Of course, not to really make peace between both of them, but in negative sense. In any given marriage, a routine heated conversation between a wife and husband, these fights do have their role bringing husband and wife together in the marriage. Iron sharpens iron. We know that, as mentioned in Proverbs 27, 17, iron sharpens iron. Everybody talks about the sharpening part of it, but nobody, points out about the sparks that come out when that sharpening happens. So now we're going to discuss about those sparks, how they are essential in bringing that sharpening when this particular activity happens. Of course, in our context, marriage. Okay, is a fight beyond repair? I would say answer is no. In any given marriage, let's talk about it a bit detail. Um, when adultery is involved and the person who is involved in adultery is not repentant and he keeps sinning against God and marriage, there's no hope. I'm not talking about that context. Of course, even if that person turns back, takes U-turn and repents and commits back to the person God has joined with, there is definitely hope. I personally believe every marriage can be saved or salvaged when it comes to, in the verge of separation or divorce. But in general, if you ask me, in the midst of disagreements and conflicts, we too discover some of the key things. As both husband and wife mature, grow together, there are a lot of things that can really boost up their marriage. Let me quickly tell you. The communication skills, as each person goes through the surge of emotions, feelings, and that anger or frustration, whatever comes, it really gives us the opportunity, gives that particular person an opportunity to think what he is thinking, why he is so strong in that particular, or she is so strong in that particular direction, and it gives some more ideas how to express them in order to resolve the conflict. And at the same time, intimacy, sexual intimacy is actually more fulfilling when you have all these feelings. I'm talking all the fights that are expressed in a very controlled manner. Yes, research does support this particular statement. Couples who argue frequently, they tend to have a more satisfying sexual life. After all, the passions and the pleasures, they're all very well connected, and it is connected to your heart. And when it is really right with God, all these things will be really falling into the place, including the sexual intimacy in a marriage. So if you would like to know more about this particular concept of sexual intimacy in a marriage, please watch this video, and we discussed a lot on these aspects as well. Yes, the next benefit is spiritual growth. And fights happen in a marriage, especially when you think there is no roadblock, no challenge in your particular way of thinking. Here comes your spouse, totally differing in your views, disagreeing to whatever you propose. That's when you start thinking, you start praying, and of course, my best psalms came out of my heart when and I had many fights with my wife. And I'm sure many of you, in written form or unwritten form, you might be having a lot of very sincere, good prayers when you had a fight with your spouse. So, what my argument is, what my point here is, you will have very good spiritual growth when you fight with your spouse. Yes, I'm saying that. And of course, here comes some terms and conditions, the way you fight. Before that, we'll check what Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22 to 33. It's a familiar passage for most of all of us, where specific instructions were given to husbands and wives. We are very familiar. The problem of knownness, we all know it very well, kind of thing. So husbands are commanded to love their wives, and wives were commanded to respect their husbands, which are very, very important things, but very difficult in practical life. So if you ask husband, oh yes, I will love my wife. The only condition is she should respect me. She should acknowledge my efforts and hard work to keep up the marriage, and she should respect my parents, and the list goes on, and including she should satisfy me in every way. But if you ask wife will say, oh yes, I will definitely respect him, provided he loves me. If he shows his concern over me when I'm sick, or if he gives a call to check on me how I am doing. These kinds of if clauses come into picture and end up in not following, both husband and wife not following what is mentioned in chapter 5 of Ephesians 22 to 23. But here comes an important factor. Whoever humbles and takes that initiative, especially in our context, if husband says, even though my wife does not respect me, I am committed to love her. And in the same manner, if wife says, even though my husband does not love me, I will not stop respecting him. These commitments, what I call unconditional love, that is the foundation on which this particular passage stands. And we have a role model, Jesus Christ, and the church, how Christ has taken that initiative to humble himself, to die on the cross. To that extent, when we go, this will really fall in place. But most of the times we do not do that, and we say ball is always on the other person's court. If only that person loves, or if only that person respects me. Okay, next comes the way in which we should handle the fights. Let me quickly tell you something. These fights can still exist while we submit to each other, while we love each other, while we respect each other, honoring each other. Okay, how to fight? Yes, first of all, stay calm. You need to be aware that you are together, you are working for the marriage. So that gives the perspective that you need to keep your calm. That is very important. And second thing is, focus on the issue. Do not get deviated, or do not dig out the past things and unnecessarily complicate the current ongoing fight. We tend to do that. But here, in the context of marriage, when you are talking about a particular issue, just resolve it by focusing on that issue. The third thing is active listening. This will happen only when you have that unconditional love and the aim of keeping the peace of marriage. These are very important. You have some border, and these are all very easy to tell, but when you go through the emotions, flood of feelings, or sometimes it may involve pain. How to calm yourself down? Yes, it comes over a period of time. As a number of years go by, and as you keep practicing this, God will definitely strengthen you, and you will realize the importance of keeping the calmness in the marriage, especially in the context of conflicts. And seek common ground. This is the most important thing. When you understand what is the primary thing, many issues can crop up in our marriage, but what is the common ground on which you both can agree, stay on that. You both try to reach that, trimming your other interests which not directly or indirectly connect with this common ground. The next thing is no grudges. Never have any kind of grudges. Leave that particular issue in that particular situation and close it when you resolve that. Don't keep on taking revenge or grudges. That doesn't actually go along with this concept of unconditional love. So that's very important, not to carry over the grudges. This is very important. And when you involve parents, especially when you go through the marital discord, this will actually complicate, and it's not that easy. So it's very difficult. But before entering all that, say that you do not hold any kind of grudge. Rather, you will work towards the common ground. And embrace the chaos. Chaos is something which gives us the opportunity to grow. So there will be chaotic situation, but do not lose your heart. After all, the benefits, there are plenty of benefits in having fights in the marriage. Let me tell you, there will be deeper understanding and empathy towards one another, and improved conflict resolving skills will develop in you, and you will be really doing very well at your workplace or anywhere. Even you can help out others in their marriages or various areas of conflict. You can bring out these conflict resolution skills. And also strengthened commitment. Every time after a fight, you feel why you are fighting and what you are fighting for, and ultimately the relationship you really hold so precious. This only enhances your commitment. This only strengthens your commitment in marriage. So this is a benefit in having fights in a marriage. Of course, let me tell you this: if one person sits in Kanyakumari, another person sits in Kashmir, obviously you will have no fights. Fights will happen only when you live together every day, sharing all the daily burdens. Nowadays, the trend is just because you got a job or studies purpose, you go sit in some place and you cannot say, my wife and I did not have fights for last 6-7 months. It's rubbish. Don't say that. That's not a valid statement. If you're staying together, you will have 100% fights. There is no doubt about it. Have the sense of humor. Increase laughter. Okay. Of course, when I say laughter, do not make fun of the other person's weakness. That's not what I mean. But laughter, laugh it away. Just enjoy the differences in your thinking pattern, and just have good sex also. As part of the good laughter that really come up as you keep arguing with each other. Okay, and more resilient marriage will develop at the end of the day. So my argument in this video is simple. If you are having regular fights in your marriage, provided you are dealing with those fights in a godly or patient way, you may end up as one of the best couples in the world. God bless you.